Hello, welcome to another video. Myself and Katie have come down to High Elms Park near Orpington, which is in the borough of Bromley, London Borough of Bromley. We're going to have a walk around and show you some of the sights the park has to offer. As you walk around High Elms, a lot of the buildings that are in here look very Victorian. A lot of them were built in the Victorian times, but its history actually dates back a lot further than that. In 1066, when William the Conqueror had the battle down in Hastings and they won, this area was gifted to his brother, Bishop Odo of Bayeux, as a thank you for his help in the battle in 1066. For successive generations after, the land that now is occupied by the golf course was used for farming, used for livestock, growing vegetables, and of course the woodlands around was used for shelter and for lots of the timber for building the old buildings and bits and pieces around the estate. Much of the park stayed the same until 1809, when a wealthy banker and member of parliament, Mr. John William Lubbock, if I remember that right, I'll put it on screen. He bought the estate, 260 acres, and there was the house, which you might be able to just see the edge of the wall behind me. The house is no longer there, unfortunately. But he lived here for all of 7 years before he died, and then his nephew with the same name, John William Lubbock, inherited the estate and then started inheriting other lands. He was a very kind man, again very wealthy man, and started a program in the grounds here to sort of bring them to life and sort of landscape the area. So we're going to have a little walk around now, and we'll show you some of the sites that sort of developed because of him. We're going to walk up this avenue, which would have been the old driveway, which leads up to the wall of the old house. So when we get up there, we'll be able to see how big the house was, how grand it was. Right, we've walked up to the edge of what is now a lawn. It turns out we would be stood in the old kitchen, which is pretty cool. They've put old brickwork around to show you the size of the building, and it stretches all the way around here. We have a little map, so we're here. This is the kitchen, and this brickwork behind me is here and here. The crockery store is over there. As you see, it spans a massive building and on different levels going up this lawn. By 1826, Sir John got bored of this place. He said it was too small, and it was a two-hour carriage journey from the local train station, which was in Sydenham. And then he bought a house in Chalk Farm, and then this was passed to someone called John William, who lived here, befriended Charles Darwin, who was the world famous scientist in Down, and then lived through his years here. Darwin had a big influence on the new owner of the property. He taught him about science, taught him landscaping, He then built ice wells here on the grounds to keep things nice and cool, and he also built a race course, and towards the end of his years the race course used to hold 20,000 spectators. Used to come here and watch the horse racing. As we've walked through what would have been the house, we've now come to what would have been the tennis courts. And these pillars around the edge were the perimeter of these tennis courts. Now obviously they've put some plants in the middle and some bushes, but behind me we have the old summer house which used to overlook the tennis courts. It sits in a southerly direction. It was built in about 1910 by John Lubbock, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce his name. He was actually friends with John Lubbock. He was actually friends with Charles Darwin, who obviously lived in Down, not too far from here. And I'd like to think that Darwin used to come here and play tennis with him, which would have been pretty cool, sit in this summer house. Apparently you can still see the hooks around the edge that used to hold the nets up, so I'm going to go for a little wander now, see if we can see those hooks. And the house would have sat over there. The main farmhouse for the estate is here behind these bushes. In 1826 the clock tower was built. Has a bell at the top, and that was so that it would ring at the start and end of the working day, let the farmers in the fields around here know when to come in and when to go out, and also obviously indicate when meal times were ready. Next to the farmhouse they built a granary, and there is also a summer house somewhere behind these bushes which you can see. Well, it's supposed to see, but it's all overgrown here now, so it's very difficult to see. So John, heavily influenced by Charles Darwin, collected specimens of trees from all over the world and planted them in the now High Elms Park. So in autumn there's an array of different colours of trees changing through the seasons. Obviously at the minute it's the middle of winter, so there's no leaves on the trees. But yeah, during the autumn months it is beautiful around here. In 1900, Sir John Lubbock became Lord Avebury, and he then further extended his mansion for another 27 bedrooms. Whoa! Big, eh? Yeah. And later on, just before World War I, it was sold. The building was sold to Kent County Council, where the mansion became a nursing training ground. In 1965, the estate was transferred to Bromley County Council, and 2 years later, unfortunately, the mansion burnt down. The estate has been obviously given to the public as public open space, and is now part of Green Belt, so you can't build on it anymore. So we will enjoy this park for many years to come, I'm sure. And maybe when I get a bit older and take up golf, I might come and have a little game of golf up here. But yeah, might be a long while off yet. So this is the grotto at the back of the house of Sir John's house. It was built between 1885 and 1896 and would have originally had a bench inside, and it faces southwest so they can watch the sunset over the back of the garden. It was originally decorated with shells around the edge, which was quite common. It also showed his interest in geology and animals and plants.
Anthropy?
And entropy. Got our local flock of parakeets.
Very local.
Yeah, there's quite a few around this area. I think they're old pets that have escaped years ago.
You reckon?
Yeah. They're not native to the UK, are they?
Negative.
And here we have come to John Lubbock's birthday shelter, which was built for him by his second wife, Alice Avebury. Which is obviously why, marrying her, he became Lord Avebury. This was a gift on his 79th birthday, and it originally had a clock and a golfing figure, as John was a very keen golfer in his late years. Unfortunately, he later died in 1913. So this is the entrance to the old ice well, which goes underneath the road there, which was built deep down underground, and they had straw in there, and then they put ice on top, and because it was underground it kept it cold, kept the ice frozen. It's very clever for its day. As we walk up here to what is now a cafe and the environmental educational area, this was the old kitchen garden. We used to grow all the vegetables for the house and had people working on it. So the building behind me, which is now the cafe, is an environmentally friendly building. It is made of straw held together by hazel and then rendered with local limestone. It's heated with there's like a wood chipper sort of next to the building, which is slightly lower ground. That burns, and then that creates the heating for the building. So, and then next to it is this nature trail, which is obviously designed to be a completely natural sort of area. So I'm going to take a little stroll around here while Katie's getting me some food from the cafe, and we'll see what's around, see what they're growing. We are in Kent. We are famed for our apple trees and orchards, for our cider. There is a mini vintage orchard with 17 different types of apple. It's the wrong time of year to see the apples, but there we go. They come back in the summer, end of the summer, to see what they're growing. Right, that concludes our walk around High Elms, guys. Thanks for coming with us. We're going to sit and enjoy our hot chocolates and a little bit of cake that Katie's bought. We'll see you on the next one. Cheerio, bye bye.